Like to
Welcome back to the Duel. So, umpisahan na natin agad yung second topic. With the top 8 locked in, every team na nakapasok is guaranteed at least $30,000. Or if i-convert mo siya sa Philippine money, 1.5 million siya. So, but with the teams like Vega and LFY removed early, should teams competing in majors and minors automatically have a share of the prize money? So, Ren, what do you think
I,
about that?
I do think so.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Specifically, it should scale to their performance then.
Mm-hmm.
We know naman na for the most part, esports events are very top-heavy sa prize. But this is the first tournament in this pro circuit na wala siyang prize sa mga for every contestants, at least sa main event. So for this current DPC, there's already 12 majors and minors. And sa lahat nun, lahat na umabot sa main event, as far as I know, receive some sort of prize money. Uh, that is very important because you have to understand that these majors and minors, para makapasok dito, teams have to go through rigorous qualifiers. They have napaka-brutal na schedules. For example, newbie has to play the Dream League qualifier, I think, a week back. So they played their match in Poland. They had a major there. They flew back to China.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1 hour, nearly one day trip to play a series for the finals, and after that fly back dito sa Bucharest for this event. So teams really spend a lot of time, resources, and effort into competing, and running these top teams, it's very expensive to sustain them, and it's something that at least I know we don't have to compensate them, but for reaching that level, they should at least be compensated. And siguro Vega and LFY, for other teams actually mas ramdam mo, especially those teams who are very close to reaching the playoffs. And it's really such a disservice for them. Yun nga, they gave a lot of effort. They played very well for them to not receive anything.
Ren, matanong ko lang. You also have been part of events, correct?
I am. Yeah.
Siguro at least the back end of events, you know what goes into planning.
Yes.
Because I agree with you. I will always bat for the teams, I will always bat for the players. Pero I think one important thing na parang hindi natin nakikita dito is that largely because of how the DPC is.
Yes.
Because it's all based on the third party tournament organizers. Sometimes it's just not feasible to pay out everyone. Maybe one can argue na nandun na yung pera eh. Bababaan na lang. Right? We'll just put in the percentages on everyone else. Pero at that point, I think it becomes a situation of will it still be worth it? Now, again, you can argue the DPC points are there. Yun yung pinaka worth it para sa kanila. But I have to ask the question, is a TO, yung TO concerns mo to, is that the reason kung bakit walang prizes yung below the top 8? Because I believe na for this tournament hanggang top 8 lang yung ano natin, di ba? Yung cut-off ng prizes natin.
I don't think so. I think there were events before who were giving maybe as little as 2,000-3,000 to the bottom finishers.
To the bottom finishers.
Yeah, but so the idea, if that was the case, kung problema nga ang TO, it definitely did not show sa previous tournaments natin. At the same time, yun nga yung emphasis on DPC because you're gonna talk to these players, specifically for the top finishers, if you're gonna cut maybe from kunyari 500k ngayon, if you're gonna cut 100k, you're gonna hear players over and over again. Of course, I'm not gonna speak for them. Of course, money is still very important. It's part of their career. But at the same time, these players are really looking for DPC more than the prize. I'm not saying that they don't deserve the money. I'm just saying that the other
There should be
teams-
compensation.
Yeah, the other
Again,
teams should be
again,
compensated.
I agree with you.
Same.
I think Vega Squadron is kind of the team that you can use here as a use case, right? You take a look at Vega Squadron. This is a team that yes, they have some backing, pero this is not a team like Liquid. They don't have that overarching organizational support that comes from a really big esports organization. This isn't even like Mineski. Mineski has, even though siguro by scale, by size, by comparison, they're not as big as Liquid. They're not as well stocked as EG even. Masasabi mong sayang yung Vega, hindi sila makakuha ng pera dito. But the reason why I asked that kanina is because, again, this is just how it's going to be in the DPC. On theory, dapat these teams are fighting for the points. The points are what's going to keep them honest when they're competing. Diba? The points are going to make them keep trying. I've heard people say, pag binigyan mo ng pera lahat ng tao, yung mga lower teams, hindi na sila magta-try as much because meron silang safety net. Pag tinanggal mo yung safety net na yon, then they're going to keep trying because they want to get into that spot where they can advance, or at least they can be part of the price cutoff. But I think that's why the points are there, because that's what we're actually fighting for. The money is supposed to be there as an extra incentive. That's not the main incentive. And why do I bring that up? Because I think this is going to happen because of how Valve has been handling this pro circuit. Kung titignan natin, in the past, in Valve tournaments, they've done this. They have a base prize pool. They've managed to find percentages. They don't even have hard na numbers.
Well, to be fair, kasi nag-scale din.
Well, because it's also scaling. I agree. Pero ibig sabihin, they can just use the same scaling.
Yes.
Right? Even if it's 1 million, and you can still always give 2% to the lowest team. You can always just do that. But because the DPC is run so chaotically, and I just want to say that's just real talk right now, the Dota Pro circuit is run so chaotically. We've seen a lot of tournaments lose their status. We've seen tournament organizers drop in the middle of having to do it. GSC famously had 4 minors. Now they're down to 2. Diba? And you're going to keep seeing that until you find Valve step in. And if Valve really says na, look, we are here for the players. We're here to support players. They famously said that they're here to support players. Their actions are always for that. Why is it then na wala tayong nakikitang movement from Valve to standardize that? Okay, kung major man kayo, yun lang yung hinihiling ko eh. Kung major kayo, pay out to everyone. Pay out to everyone. We're not seeing that. I don't know where Valve is. I don't know where they are in this matter. So I think both of us, yes, you should pay out these people. Some people will say na siguro kung minor, hindi na. But because the TO has the freedom to do this, everything's going to be up in the air. Unless Valve puts in any standard things, you're going to see teams like Vegas Squadron na, sayang, sorry, you're not gonna get anything. So I don't know what's going to happen next.
I don't get people though saying na hindi ka na, pag may guaranteed money, you won't put really an effort na. Because again, going back, every team that's in the event really fought tooth and nail to get there. And if they are invited, then there was a reason they were invited. Maybe, as maybe marami siyang fans, maybe magaling talaga siya, but for whatever reason it is, they were invited there for a reason. And I think they should be justly compensated for that. Again, of course, we understand then that this is a competition. Pero we also have to understand that this is, we want these players to develop. It's not just the players, the orgs then. Kasi it's gonna be hard. You see na ngayon na we ask why it's almost always the same orgs that we see. Because it's really expensive to run a team. If maybe you people have an idea, trust me, it's higher than that. You'll be surprised how expensive it is to run a team. And it's also one of the considerations that we have to take in if you want to continuously develop esports players and teams.
I think that's the reason why we don't have the big flashy investments coming in the rest of the esports world. We're not seeing investments coming in from these big named NBA teams. We're not seeing coming in from the sports teams or the big brands, maybe except Mercedes-Benz or whatever, right? Pero it's not the same in CSGO. It's not the same here because the structure is much different. It's so chaotic and it's so top heavy that if you're an investor, but ako I'm going to put up what? Sabihin natin $1 million for a team. Mag-sponsor ako. I'm a big brand. Yung $1 million na yon, sabihin natin that will last a top team. Not even a year. Mauubos yun. Mauubos yun just the costs of running the team. Tapos papasok sila ng tournament. They reach 9th place, 9 and 10th on their first tournament. Wala na silang napalanunan. Next tournament, they reach 9 and 10 pa rin. Again, this is a new team. This is a new hypothetical team na sinasabi natin. $1 million sponsorship by a big brand. Wala na silang napapanalunan. On their third tournament, 9 and 10 pa rin sila. sabihin natin, but closer games, which is a good development for a new team. But because of that, wala pa rin sila palanunan. Do you think any other brand is going to say it's worth investing? That's why no one's investing in Dota. One of the big reasons is because of the way our tournament structure is. And something we need to talk about.
Plus the game is so volatile pa. To add to that. And minsan the players are not necessarily declining, but then you see there's a patch, there's a change, there's a nerf or a buff. Suddenly this team now was supposed to be good. Same players, they're not really slacking off. They're still practicing as much, but then they're not performing as well anymore. And it happens in the game a lot. You see players falling off, teams falling off, with the same roster, assuming with the same habit, pero they're not shining as they were before.
So, lahat tayo nag-agree na dapat merong kahit na compensate lang yung mga hindi nakasali sa top 8, right?
I think for others, it's called the token amount lang. It's not necessarily the... It's not meant to sustain the teams, but it's to show the...
Honorarium.
It's basically,
Ayun,
yeah, token
Honorarium
to them.
sa Filipino.
Ano yun?
Filipino ba yung honorarium?
Honorarium is English, obviously. This is the only thing we can debate about. Pero 'di ba sa kulturang Pinoy, magbibigay ka na honorarium or consuelo. It's also not Filipino, pero consuelo yung bibigay mo.
Yeah.
So, both of you guys agreed na like same kayo ng side. So, but before we move on to our next topic, magka-commercial break muna tayo. So, wait lang kayo guys.